What up everybody, it's your boy Jouhzu, and in this video I'm going to teach you a secret on how to be more charismatic and how to be more likable and get people to really like you. And this is a secret that I've kept for a really long time, and I'm telling you, 90% of the whole world population don't know this secret. And if they do know it, they don't even do it right. But Team Jouhzu, I'm going to share it with you. But before I do, like this video right now. The number one tip and trick to make people like you is by making them feel special. And there's a way to go about it. You want to make them feel special, and the only way you make them feel special is by understanding them, putting yourself in their shoes, right? After you've approached somebody, after you've built rapport with someone, after you've done all that stuff to make them feel comfortable getting talking, that's when you want to sit back and listen. The listening part is like intel gathering, right? You're gathering intel not just to listen for the sake of it, but to understand them. How do they see the world? How do they feel? What worries them? What do they like? What's their aspirations? And if you do that, right, your whole demeanor of the way of interacting with them will change. This method is a bit different than rapport building because you don't necessarily have to like what they're doing or what they're saying. You don't necessarily have to agree with what they're saying, but you can still understand where they're coming from. Do you get me? I'll give you an example when that happened to me. When I graduated from college, right? My college is like literally just after Cambridge and Oxford, literally like third place, right? And someone like me who's coming from a really poor background and shit, like never could have imagined to graduate from that college, right? Like it's up there, bro. I'm telling you. You know, like just when I just finished graduating and I kind of like went back to my family, I saw one of my lecturers, like one of the professors, stand in line and wait for me and congratulate me. And you know what he said? He said, you know what, the fact that you graduated from this college, I have high hopes for you that you will do great things, right? And I looked at him and I was like, he wasn't standing there for anybody else. So all this time he was standing there, those 20 minutes, those 15 minutes of like crowded places where all the parents are waiting, he was standing there all by himself just to tell me that. I felt really special, you know? Like, that's someone, imagine, that's someone I looked up to all my college year life, right? But I felt like he was out of my league because he was this self-proclaimed professor and I wanted to be like him. I wanted, you know, like, but I never really had the courage to talk to him because I thought he was out of my league, you know? But the fact that he actually saw who I was, my background and everything, like that I was worried of not making it, that he kind of understood and he actually put it in words and came back to me, it made me feel special. And then on the same day I wrote it down on my reflective journal and I write it down, I was like, it made me feel special, but how does it, the fact that he did it, how did it make me feel towards him? I started liking him a lot more, you know? Because because he made me feel special and he kind of like showed that he cared about me, made me want to care about him even more. So ever since then, ever since that day, I kind of like make a mental note, you know, like of people who I interact with and trying to listen to them and trying to get what is important to them, their point of view, their situation, their context, what makes them tick, what makes them feel like that, and then choose one specific thing that is most dearly to their heart and then ask questions about it. By doing that alone, promise you, bro, you will get people to like you without a doubt. I'll show you like a classic example where I actually used it when I was talking to a guy. Here in this clip that you're about to see, I approached the guy. He was playing like a Pokemon Go, right? And we got talking and he kind of like told me, he noticed my camera and he kind of asked me questions about my camera. So I kind of could tell that like he wanted to be a photographer, but he just didn't know, like didn't have the means to kind of, you know, buy a camera, and his parents want him to be this and so on. So kind of like we talked about photography, we built enough rapport to connect, and on the second meeting, I want you to note what I did to make him like me.
Hey partner,
Good to see you.
How are you?
Thanks for making it.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's cold, right?
That's yours for the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Show me what you got. I mean, you know, this move, giving him my camera and making him the cameraman of the day, it's like a karate kick. You know what I mean? Because it is so well thought out. I made him feel special because the fact that I kind of put myself in his shoes and noticed without him even saying specifically that he wants to be a photographer and his parents wouldn't allow him and shit, you know? I kind of like acted on the information and made him feel special through my action, right? He never expected me to actually make him the cameraman of the day. Keep in mind, I met him only one day before, right? This is what I want to point out. Make people feel special. Every time you meet someone new, just put in the effort to allocate a small chunk of your cognitive resources, basically the energy of your brain, right? To allocate it to every person you meet, right? And point out, like, make a note of what is important to them. And the next time you talk to them, bring it up. It's like, oh, how was this thing going? Oh, you know? And you know when you know it's working is when they say, oh, you actually remembered, you know? And that's when you see like a switch going off, right? Because in this world, nobody really cares about you. Nobody cares for who you are. People only care for what you do. So when they see someone that is caring for them, then they by default also want to care about you and like you. So with this guy, on the second meeting, we didn't do anything in particular. We just hang around and he kind of like took pictures and stuff. It was just a normal day, right? It was nothing special. But that guy, you know, he had so much fun, he didn't even want to leave. He just like, oh, hold on. Let's hang out for another hour, like till 6 o'clock. How much time do you have? You know, he had a good time. And the thing is, and the reason why he had a good time is because I facilitated something that he wanted to do, right? I made his dream come true for it, even if it's just for one day. And that's the problem with most people that I see. Most people want to be liked, you know, but they go about it the wrong way. There's two ways to get people to like you, right? One way is by being funny and witty and saying the right things and, you know, just doing something, like doing stuff that is fun and cool, you know. In my opinion, that is really hard. That is like the hard way, right? You can do it if you're good, if you're charismatic by nature, and if you're like smart by nature, if you can make people like you, that's on you, that's really good. But most of us are not like that, you know. For most of us, what I advocate is use the second method. The second method is basically setting the context in such a way where people can't help but like you, right? In this example, I kind of gave him my camera and he loved camera footage. He loved cameras, right? And so the fact that he had so much fun with the camera and I was the one to give him the camera, he kind of associates me with the fun he has with the camera, right? He had so much fun with the camera. His day was good, right? But he associates me with it because I facilitated it, right? So from that point on, anything I say, anything I do, you know, basically, even if I say something stupid, he will interpret it in a positive way because the context itself is working for me, right? It's just like making a first good impression, right? If you make a first good impression and you say something stupid like afterwards, it doesn't really matter as much because the person is trying to interpret what you're saying based on that framework of the first impression, right? The first good impression acts as a framework of how they will interpret everything you say. I have a lot of people who are afraid of being boring, right? On my Discord server, they say, oh, what do I say, so and so. Don't focus on what you say. Focus on how you say it and how you can use the context to make it work with you. And in this way, you will become liked. And you know how you can become popular? Simple. If you do it to every person you meet, right? For example, like let's say you're part of a group of 5 people, right? And you do it to one guy, right? In that group, he will like you. You do it to the next guy, he will like you. You do it to the other guy, he will like you. You do it to the other guy, and he will like you, and so on. And eventually, everybody in the group, you have got like a certain connection with them, and they all like you. And when they all come together, you will be the popular guy. Do you get what I'm saying? And then it doesn't matter what you say, how you fuck up, what you do. It's because the context is flowing with you, right? And one thing I want to point out is, even if you don't like what they are saying or doing, and even if you disagree with them, but if you still understand where they're coming from, it will still have the same effect. Don't fucking try and not do it with people who you don't like, because it's counterintuitive. Because if somebody notices that you don't like them, the relationship that you form with other people will be threatened by that one person, right? Because he doesn't like you and he wouldn't want his other friends to like you too, right? So you want to still make that person who you don't feel like could be your friend or should be your friend still feel special. Do it with everybody and you will be liked in no time, right? So I hope this helps. I hope it was useful. Like this video and share it. Share it. Help the channel grow, man. We're almost on 8,000 subscribers, man. Let's do it. Let's make it happen fast. Right? It's 2020. And yeah, man, if you have any questions or any comments, if you relate to it, if somebody has ever done that to you, put it in the comment section below. I like interacting with you guys, man. You guys like my only friends that I have. You know, you guys are like my family. You get